I'm Richie Wilson from FIRE Steakhouse Bar on Dawson Street. I'm going to talk a little bit about what sets a restaurant steak apart from the one that you cook at home in your house. We'd often wonder if it's the wine or the romance of being out together for the first time in a long time, or just the ambiance of a fine dining restaurant. Actually, it's the seasoning. The first thing, and absolutely the most important, good rock salt. Flaky, crunchy, crisp, and really brings out the flavour of the beef. In addition to that, cracked black pepper. No fine ground white pepper. This really has to pack a punch. So I'm going to show you how to season this perfectly cut piece of fillet steak. I'll always start off with the white salt, grinding it up with my fingers as I'm putting it around. We're not going to let it pile up, but we are covering the entire steak in that salt. Then I'm going to add the pepper. Not as much as the salt, but it definitely needs to go across the entire surface. And I'll never even waste what's on the board. I'm going to run the steak around it, get all the edges. So we're going to let it sit there now for about 10 to 15 minutes before we cook it. But the seasoning doesn't stop there. After we've cooked the steak, after we've let it rest, then we're back, finishing it off with a little bit more rock salt and a tiny bit more cracked black pepper, just to add another little kick, another layer across your palate as you're eating it. Marinating. And why would you want to do it? Well, at home, if you're not using one of the prime cuts of beef, then this is the way to get the maximum amount of flavour out of your steak. Adding in a little bit of garlic, a little bit of thyme, can just take that steak to a whole other level. So our first ingredient, and the one with the biggest flavour, garlic. So with our garlic, we want to crunch it and really get a fine paste. And make sure we get all of that off the board and into our dish. Next up, fresh thyme. Then, our most important ingredient, the rock salt. Along with cracked black pepper. For this one, a little bit of vegetable oil, not an olive oil, way too strong in flavour. And now, soak the steak. And that's it. Cover it in cling, soak it in the fridge for a good 2 to 3 days. Great flavoured steak. So now we're going to take the seasoning up to another level with a dry rub. And now's the time that you get to take out the pestle and mortar that's been decorating your kitchen for the past couple of years. We're going to go straight into it and start with a whiskey smoked sea salt. Really smoky flavours. A little bit of ground white pepper. Plenty of Szechuan pepper. Adds that lovely spice and the numbingness across, tickles across the palate. In the pestle and mortar, really get in there, bringing out all the texture from that Szechuan pepper. So giving the steak a good dusting of those ground spices and then rubbing it in. This is what sets apart one of those picanha steaks or the flat iron steak. Massage it in and leave it alone. Good 12, 24 hours. After this, it's perfect for the barbecue.